For the past several weeks, we've been talking about radio messaging and use of the radiogram format. We've talked a lot about the preamble and the accounting. The question becomes, why do we do that? We talked about it theoretically. Let's take a look at how those things actually work and why we use them and why they are so important in radio messaging. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Don't miss any of these videos. Stick around. Black one. So we've been talking about the features of the radiogram format with particular emphasis on the preamble and the accounting features. Today we're going to see how those all work together in practice. We're going to show a message that I originate. We're going to see how that is going to be accounted for, and then we're going to see what happens when I get the message out there and how those features are able to give me the feedback that I need to know whether the message was delivered, when it was delivered, and if it did not get delivered at all. So the first order of business, of course, is to originate the message. In this case, I happen to be the one who wants the message sent, and I am also the one who is operating the station, so it's pretty straightforward for me to craft the message. The example that I'm giving now, I've blacked out the specific details regarding the addressee because it doesn't matter who it is, but we do want to highlight an example that actually took place. So, we have in the top line of the addressee portion of the radiogram the first name, last name, and call sign of the addressee, the person that I want to get the message. And of course, I'm also then going to include a title. In this case, we're talking about an ARRL, Ohio Section Official, so the title should make sense to anybody who is going to be trying to route this message to its ultimate destination. And then, of course, we have city, state, and zip. This helps us to make sure that we can get the message by radio as close as possible to the intended target. And in the case of a radio operator, it should get us exactly to the right net that we need to have. Next up is the text. Let's take a look at that. We're very specific about what we're talking about, and the way that we do that is by giving the name of the project. At this point, the county information report project 20. We've reduced that down to a simple abbreviation that everybody now recognizes. We say specifically what objective we're talking about, and then we give information about that objective. We have a break in thought, and then we move on to the next objective, and then we give information about that. This was very compact. We were able to get everything that we needed to say into 25 words. There's a question, could I have phrased this any better? That'll be a topic for a future video, but you're able to see I am able to get all of the information necessary for the addressee to make sense of this, and it's very compact. So the last thing, of course, is going to be the signature, and that's where we're going to have the name and whatever contact information, possibly a title. In this case, it's going to be just my call sign, my personal station, and my appointment title, the Assistant Section Emergency Coordinator, which we abbreviate ASEC. So the next thing I'm going to do at that point is take a look at which serial number I'm going to assign. The next one in the sequence is going to be 3515, and so here it is. And that's the number that is associated, of course, with this message, unique to this message at my station. This is a routine message. Handling instructions. What I want is for this message to be delivered within 48 hours. So I'm going to have handling instructions Bravo 48, and that is going to interplay with the time and date filed so that the stations attempting to make delivery understand how long they have before this message needs to be canceled and information sent back to the station of origin. I give a second handling instruction Charlie, which means to report back to the station of origin the date and time that the delivery was made. So what I'm saying here is whether the message gets delivered or not, I want to know about it. So the next thing course, that I do is I'm going to send the message, and in this particular case, I took it to a net. I was able to send it to station Alpha Bravo 8 Mike Whiskey, and I was able to do so 15 minutes after it was filed. So that basically took place during the course of a net. My time filed was the start of the net. By the time the net gets called up, other stations are able to move their traffic and so on. I'm 15 minutes in before this message is complete. Nevertheless, at this point, it is in the system, and I know that it is going through the process of relay. So at that point, I record the date time group. That is when I have the message off of my station, and AB8MW takes responsibility for it. I wait a little bit, and then I get a response back a few days later. The response that I got was from station Kilo 8 Oscar Victor Oscar in Tontogany, Ohio, and we have information that is very specific. It refers to my message number, so I know exactly which one it is, and then it gives me specific information. It's not vague. It says could not deliver within 48 hours. That tells me everything that I need to know. There's no big conversation. There's no explanation necessary. I know what I need to know. The station attempting to make the delivery was following the handling instructions. How it got from AB8MW to K8OVO doesn't matter to me. The point is that the system of relay is working. Those stations are doing their job, moving my message for me. And so it got to the point where it was close to its target. That station could not reach the target, and so this message comes back advising me so. Now, I got this message coming back from K8OVO not directly from him, but in fact, another station was relaying the message to me for K8OVO. In this case, Kilo Delta 8 Uniform Bravo relayed that into me, and again, I make the record that shows when I received the message from that station. So you can see that I also got this response the same day that it was filed. So this moved through the system pretty quickly. Most likely it came on a morning net and then it relayed its way down through the state of Ohio and made it to my station in Columbus at the once daily Central Ohio Traffic Net session. Let's take a look at another example of a message that I was able to receive. In this case, it was in response to a different message, but nevertheless is helpful when we're looking at handling instructions. In this particular case, I have a message that came in from Whiskey Delta 8 Sierra Delta Hotel. The accounting, of course, is going to be in there. I'm just copying the message. I write down what I need to know when I'm recording the message. In this case, WD8SDH was on the same net that I'm on, and I was trying to receive the message from that station. Conditions were pretty bad, though, and I couldn't hear everything that he said. So in this case, I've got Alpha Charlie 8 November. Papa was doing yeoman's work and making sure that I'm able to get all the fills I need. Basically, I copied the message from SDH, and any of the things that I could not hear, I asked AC8NP, who was copying along, to tell me which words I missed, and in that way I was able to get the entire message. So the message is for my station. I know what to do with it. I don't have to relay it on, and I don't have to make any delivery because it's actually headed to me specifically. The message that I have is an ARL numbered radiogram. So the text ARL 47 is going to be something that actually expands out to something else, and that text is going to be reference your message number blank to blank delivered on blank at blank UTC. So you can see that we have the check has a leading group ARL, and inside of the text we have a group ARL and then a number spelled out. That is what the ARL numbered radiogram is. It saves us time, and it makes a rigorous format that allows us to contain information in a way that's unambiguous. Filling in the first blank, we put in the message number. Filling in the second blank, we put in the station that was meant to be the target for this message. And then we put in the date that the message was actually delivered. And then we fill in the time. Oh, we have a problem. This group here, 2345 Zulu. When we fill it in, we actually have the message completing out to August 20 at 2345 Zulu UTC. The Zulu's redundant. Zulu means UTC. The format ARL47 actually has UTC as the next group, so we don't need to include the Zulu. It is completely unambiguous even without it because of the ARL47 format. So all we got to do is drop that Zulu, and this would otherwise be perfect. So we have good specificity, and that happens because of the format of the ARL47. Specific blanks, we fill them in specifically, and so now this message, reference your message number 3532 to AA8BN, delivered on August 20 at 2345 Zulu UTC. I've got it. I understand exactly what's going on. Now I've got to find my message. What are we talking about? 3532. In fact, I have good station records, so I have a copy of the messages that I've been sending out, and here it is. So now I can see that this particular message is the one that was delivered, and I can also see how long it took for that delivery to be made. So how did we do? We were able to take a look at the process of origination where we are choosing the handling instructions that we need. We do the same thing when we're choosing our precedents, of course, but we are showing use of the preamble to ensure that the operators handling our messages know what to do with them and how to handle those messages. We were able to show the accounting such that we could see where the message went, to whom it was relayed, and when it was relayed. And then finally, we were able to see the responses back, the stations obeying the handling instructions, sending messages back to me, confirming that delivery has been made, or informing me that delivery could not be made within the time frame that I had specified. These are features that you're going to see when you are working with the radiogram format, and this is the reason why in this project we have focused on the radiogram format. These features do not exist on forms that are not made for radio relay or any other kind of relay for that matter. The ICS 213 general message form, as an example, has none of these features. If you take a 213 and you blast it to somebody with FL message, the station that gets it has no idea what kind of time they have to deliver the message. As soon as possible? Sure, but what does that actually mean? At what point does it become so stale that it needs to be returned? How can it be returned? Those are all very important questions and things that we will address in upcoming parts of this exercise. So stick with the exercise, understand what it is that we're doing here as we learn about the radiogram format, and we will use these features while we are working with other formats in the coming weeks. I hope you've enjoyed this. Like the video, share it, subscribe to the channel. See you next time. Radio KD8TTE out.